chasing its own tail.
Come to me, fill me up with your love tonight, 'cause I haven't seen your face in a while. Take me to that hiding place in the ocean. I fall, close my eyes to feel you near. All around me, I'm searching. You're here.
Beautiful. Thank you, Emma. This is Emma Ejwertz from LA, but she's actually from Sweden, a singer-songwriter. I'm so excited to have you on the show Taboo.
Thank you for having me.
Taboo is a show for creative souls with creative souls, and the guest is choosing a taboo topic. So Emma came up with a taboo topic. But first, I would like to talk about you a little bit, Emma.
Okay.
I love this song here,
Thank you.
and it's so beautiful. Did you write it yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wrote most everything myself. I wrote it in a very hard time in my life, so maybe that's why it's good.
That's why I love it so much. I would say the best things come out of suffering, actually.
Fortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And sometimes when you're super happy in love, that comes out, and then if things don't work out, then it's super feedback, you know.
Yeah. I will definitely put notes in the comments under there with your website and Spotify. And you are Swedish. I moved to Sweden. You live in LA.
Yes. I live in LA.
But you wrote a song in Swedish as well. Love it.
Yeah. Love it. Yeah, I've written a lot of songs in Swedish. I haven't released them all. I actually have one I did release in an EP called Vi, which is us, Avish in Swedish. That was kind of like a, I haven't really done very much with the song yet, but it's a song I'm really proud of. I wrote it with a friend of mine, Kyle C., who passed away. He's a phenomenal musician, American musician. So, but I wrote actually 4 new songs that I want to release soon if I have to finish recording them, but in Swedish. So
it's pretty cool, this song. I was listening to it, and it's like the songs you listen to here in radio in Sweden.
Yeah, it's been on the radio in Sweden, actually.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think not all over, but I've heard people say like, "Oh, I heard your song on the radio." Like it's been in Halland, you know, the area where I'm from. Yeah. Used to play songs there, so yeah.
Cool. And you play the guitar?
Mm-hmm. And the harp and the bass and the piano.
And the bass. How did it come? Were your parents musicians already, or how did it come that you are?
Oh, not at all.
So talented. I mean.
Well, oh my God, I was kind of forced to play the trumpet at a young age, which I did not like. And then I got my grandfather to buy me a cheap guitar, and that's when it kind of started. Actually, a cheap guitar in Mellbystrand. I bought it from a person in Mellbystrand where we both like it. Yes.
Oh, we have to tell the audience I love Mellbystrand all the time when I drive from Sweden to Germany to meet my daughter. I'm in the van with my cats, traveling through Mellbystrand, staying there one night. And I love Mellbystrand, and Emma is from Mellbystrand, right? Close to it.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, it's part of, it's a very unique place. It really lifts you up, and you draw a lot of energy from it, and it smells good too. It's good. You can smell the ocean. Yeah.
I mean, getting this old guitar from your grandfather, and did you like practice on it, or did you get lessons?
Well, how it started was that my best friend's brother had a crush on me, so he gave me free guitar lessons on Sundays.
You seem like such a strong woman with such cool music. It's so deep, and I love it sounds strange, but I love it kind of that you are not so famous, that you are also like struggling and going through, you know, I can relate to that so much, being an artist and, you know, staying true to yourself.
Yeah, that's what else can you do? I mean, it's kind of like a path. Like I talked to somebody about, we choose the life before we come here, and it's called the soul contract. And I'm like, I really chose all this. Well, I would have done it a little slightly differently, but I do. Yes, it's. I wish it was a little easier, but I think it's a matter of like removing hindrance and stuff. And I think overall, right now, I feel like things are gonna change a little bit. I just feel a shift.
Okay, now we come to your taboo topic.
Okay.
Weak and strong woman, the taboo of being single, choosing not to marry, and have a family alone. Single, crazy cat lady.
Well, I mean, the taboo is like you, as a woman overall. I mean, you have this society do, even in the Western world, that you have to have a family by a certain age, and you have to do this, and make a certain amount of money. More as a woman, a man has more time. Oh yeah, he used to, you know. Women, we don't. Even you can stretch it and think it's still really difficult. And also growing up with a single mother, having those challenges it was a little bit looked down upon, you know, like you felt a little shame. But if it was a man taking care of the children, it would be like, oh my God, you're so good. How do you do that? You're like a hero. But a woman, it's not looked upon as hero. It's more looked like it's some kind of weakness. And it's a very twisted world when you look at that like that. There's a lot of pressure on women, more than even more now. And I feel even like in America right now, where the abortion laws are coming back into play, where now they're trying to take away women's rights. So backwards. It's going backwards. And it's craziness to me. You know, I think a woman should have the right to do whatever she wants with her body. And I think if you're a man, you don't know what it's like to be a woman.
You seem like such, like I said, like such a strong woman, but you also have this sensitive side, you know, like, and I kind of struggled my whole life of like men. I think men are often looking for like the weak woman that they can save and yes, control. I mean, I love you guys, but if you also are a doer, a maker, and have the strong side, it could be not so attractive to men.
Yeah, too masculine. You have to be. It's like the femininity. Yeah, like yeah. There's a little bit of a, you know, fine line there. People like what they're used to. Like people like what they grew up on or with in the culture. And if you meet someone too much a certain way, that I think independent women have always been out there, but I think even more now with everything that's happened in the world and happened in Iran. I feel so bad. I'm sorry with names, but the whole movement happened in Iran are very important. I think women, we don't want to be, you know, pushed around anymore. And that's the thing also, I feel like as a woman and or just a human in general, to be able to have which I'm working on myself too, to be able to put yourself in someone else's shoes. Because it's easy to judge. You put your best persona out on social media and just really be able to, you don't know what other people are going through.
Oh, Emma, I love that so much. Yeah, there's this saying, right? Walk a couple of miles in his or her shoes, and then you can.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it comes to play with the women rights. Exactly. I think also these days when things are gender, everybody has a different way to define themselves. So I think with that gender difference, I don't even know what to call it anymore, because I know so many people that are either trans or they're, you know, they identify as them or like nothing, you know, which I kind of like the idea of not being man or woman. I like the Prince said, I'm not a man or a woman. I like that idea of identifying, you know, because that way, but then that's not acceptable to society. And I understand it's confusing for people.
Yeah. Yeah, why couldn't we just be, right? Without all those judgments. I mean, it's so kind of, it took me so long to figure out when people judge me, it's all about themselves.
Oh yeah, it's all, yeah, of course. I had a friend from not too long ago attack me from nowhere, on social media, not so people can see it, but had no idea what I've gone through. Absolutely no idea. Just saying the most horrendous things. And yeah, and then but again, um, you have to let people be, and also just you don't know what other people going through and what their shoes they're walking in. You know, it has to do with them, what they're going through. So that anger, whatever they put on you. So if people are negative and stuff, you gotta shut them off and out, or take a little breather from them. Yeah.
What do you do for yourself? Do you like meditate or do yoga or?
I do work out. I try to do a little bit every day. I do baths and also learning new things. I love reading a lot about everything, and I love anatomy. I watch sometimes anatomy videos about surgeries. I know it's weird, but I just love the body. I love it and think about the brain. So yeah, that's like just taking care of myself and learning and being informed, and yeah. But yes, I do. I work out. I love working out as my medicine.
This being single is like, I don't want to settle for something that is not ideal, you know?
Yeah, of course not.
I want really the ideal relationship.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, I do love being alone. There are times things can feel lonely, but the solitude and the strength from self-love that I worked on recently for a while myself, that's powerful for me. And I feel that's something I'm always going to carry with me, no matter who I have in my life. But that strength inside, um, that's like my best friend is me.
And of course, there are things, it's not always fun to be single, right? It's like missing intimacy, for example.
Yeah, but it has to be intimacy with the right person, though.
Exactly.
Put yourself away with somebody. I was in a past relationship, but I really drained me, and in a way that I could have kept that for myself. But intimacy, you really got to pick the right person for that. Especially as an artist, especially be very vulnerable, keeping your heart, wearing your heart in your sleeve, and you're inside out. All the energy comes on top into you, and then that stays for a while, and then you have to clean that energy out. So you have to be very careful who you even just hug you, touch you, because everything, all that stuff stays on your body, I feel. And then even sometimes people you've been very intimate with stays for years. Well, you can use it for songs and art, but yeah, you could be careful who you let into that country club. So to speak.
Exactly, you know, and I had it from as I were a young girl already. For me, sexuality, everybody started early, right? In my surroundings, they started so early. I was still a child. And then like watching it, and I was like, no, for me, having sex is something so special. And it's like, I kind of knew already for myself that this is something like holy for me.
Yeah. And you learn a lot about like people dating. I feel like dating guys here, some of them like want to date many women, and it says everything about, I know other women do too, some women. It's basically they're not available emotionally. They want intimacy, but they don't want to run into next, because they just want to do the dopamine, the effect of it, and then go. So once, if somebody wants to do that, then you know exactly what kind of person they're not in touch with themselves. There's stuff in there that you haven't dealt with, because being intimate with somebody and just being with one person kind of has to do a lot with yourself too, where you value yourself. If you do it with too many people, you don't really value yourself. You know, it's one thing when you're younger to kind of play the field, and we keep doing that. You're avoiding, you can't do intimacy, real intimacy. You just go the other way. Yeah. Intimacy can also be not just sexual, it can just be mental, you know, that can also just, that can turn you on in a whole different way. I mean, that is
for
people
me,
that,
like intimacy is kind of subtle too. It's kind of like intuition, right? For me, good sex has to do a lot with the mind and really feeling a connection on a mind level as well, on a spiritual level as well.
Yeah, like, yeah, oh yeah, it's just being an artist, you know, like hearing a voice. If you talk to somebody, you don't like the sound in their voice, you can't do it. It's done. It's
Exactly.
like it has that, and then they can maybe not be the the most attractive, but they have a voice that just speaks volumes, and it can trump other things. So yeah, I think as you get older, sexuality and intimacy changes, because you kind of see things differently and feel differently about things. And women, our bodies change so much too sexually as we get older too. We have different, it feels different. You're like, what? I felt this way now. I used to feel this way. It's completely changed. Like you're like, it's like a little map, it like a little like reset. Like, oh, I could, it's interesting. The woman's body is interesting. It's like a mystery.
It's so cool, actually. Yeah, it's like a toy to figure out, like a child to figure out new stuff as we are evolving as personalities or as a human being, right? We have so many choices. We see it more clearly because we work so much with ourselves, right?
It's self-work, and it's always, I think the self-work is and I feel therapy also in many cultures is taboo. Therapy is a strength, and be able to face that and like, oh, I'm not feeling well, or this is not, I'm not doing well, to be able to take that and actually fix that, that's strength. So therapy is a strength, not a weakness, or not a but it's an uncomfortable thing, and people don't want to deal with things that are uncomfortable. So yes, yeah, that's another little cliffhanger on that. But yeah, therapy is great. Swedish people kind of tolerate therapy, but it's still a little hush hush hush. America a little more open-minded. Here I feel like in their 30s people here are a little more it's a little more acceptable. I think in the artist world we're all in therapy because we feel everything and we take on other people's burdens and amazing thoughts, things. So yeah, all the cats have gathered around here, like 1, 2, hi Stinky. He's laying like, hi Stinky.
Yeah. I kind of never feel really alone because I have those cats like coming up to me, wanting to be close, and it's giving so much, this unconditional love. I wish we could all be more in the space of unconditional love, actually.
Yeah, me too. I mean, and well, that's what you do get from them. I mean, they are a little a-holes sometimes, but unconditional love, that's a big thing. Bringing that up, that's something that a lot of people I grew up with conditional love. There was an expiration date on it, in which it's very important to be around people that give you unconditional love. And that's just that's some soul work right there. Also, to be able to know that you are that you deserve it, because many people don't feel like deserve it. They feel almost like that, like it's hard. Oh, I'm weak, whatever. Everybody deserves love. Everybody deserves to feel good. Everybody deserves to express themselves in a healthy way, deserve to be good to themselves. And and people hurt themselves in different ways. There's a reason behind it, because they don't want to look themselves in the mirror. It's hard to look yourself in the mirror. You have this big fleshy body, and I mean, big, like you have to, this is who I am, this is what I'm stuck with for until I'm in go to the next plane. I have to make the best of this. I can't run away from myself. Where I go is where I land up. So I talked to some of my spiritual friends talking about the soul contract. You can actually make up, like, you have a whole like interview with people before you come down here to kind of map out what you're going to do when you're here and what you have to go through. And I'm thinking that soul contract, that's quite interesting.
Yeah, Rich Martini is talking a little bit about that in my movie, in I Am a Creative Soul. Yeah, that we have like schools up there, where we meet, like meeting rooms, and we choose our parents, and we choose who we're gonna be and what we experience.
Yeah.
So we choose to be women, and I can say from myself that I'm really weak sometimes. I really feel like alone and weak.
That's not weak though. That's not weak. I think weak, it's not weakness. It's strength in that, being alone, maybe feeling vulnerable. It's not weakness.
Right.
You can be vulnerability is a strength. So weakness, I feel like that's something else. You're vulnerable, which is beautiful, because that's when you get in touch and you do your best work. Imagine.
And you know what? I love that so much in a man when they are vulnerable, when they show their feminine side. I'm so touched by that. I love that so much.
It's hard, I think, for men to show the vulnerabilities, the vulnerable side. Some, depending on the man, you know. Yeah.
I think this creativity, like being an artist, being sensitive, being a woman, kind of also like talking about weakness, right? Intuition is a really strong point too. For the outside, seeing it as a weakness, but listening to the fine voice, which is not so loud.
Yeah, I think most of us, we don't want to listen to that voice. We kind of just want to, it looks good enough, let's do it. Hey, we're not doing this, shouldn't do this, you know. But yes, intuition. And I think as you get more, you know, mature and stuff, you learn to, you know, to listen to it as much as it possibly can, you know. Yeah, the whole taboo thing, I was thinking that was a difficult thing to think about. There's so many taboo things. There were so many things I want to bring up, but I don't want to be too like poopy or negative. I wanted to keep it lighthearted, but you know, there's a lot of subjects out there to talk about that are taboo. This is my spirit animal. This is my spirit animal, Stinky. I'm doing a little cartoon about the flying stinker.
Oh,
flying stinker, Stinky, the Siamese cat. Okay, yeah.
I think cats are so feminine. They show so much the feminine sides, like this independence, but when they need closeness, they go and get it, and
that on their terms.
Yeah,
on their
exactly.
On their terms. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, so wonderful talking to you.
You too. Yeah, it's been really good. I'm gonna probably write some music after this, and maybe write a little more. I know it's late here, but it's my weekend.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for being in the show and making it intimate, tabooic.
He wants to say thank you very much too.
Come to me, fill me up with your love tonight, 'cause I haven't seen your face in a while. Take me to